So I was gonna save this for later, but I just got so much footage today. I'm gonna give some context. So you guys know how I was talking about like these average looking regular people, and we gotta have more examples because like people always try to like say that every black person, especially like every black girl, is average. Obviously that's not true. Like in all the groups there's like the ugly bitches, the regular ones, and then the like pretty ones, and then there's like Beyonce, right? It's like there's levels to this, right? So especially since all the Kevin Samuels dudes want to come out, let's talk about it. So I got so much footage today. I think I got 30 minutes, and we're gonna start unpacking and labeling these bitches. So I just saw 3 walk by just now. The most basic Asian bitches you've ever seen. Just, they're like fours across the floor. 4, 4, 4 across the floor, right? That will be some like Kevin Samuels stan or some basic ass Patty will be so quick to be like, some black girl's like Dusty, and this will be his wife. All day long you see this shit. When you hear a Dusty nigga talking about really anybody else, all you have to do, go look at his wife. I guarantee you right now, 4 in the face, 2 in the body, all day long. He's telling this bitch all type of lies. I love you. You're beautiful. I care about you. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. It's just incredible. I'm sorry. This time, I was going to keep it for the blog, but after that Frexican with the chalupa, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not being quiet anymore. I will not be silenced, okay? Especially the Euro trash who keeps coming. It's incredible. Like, they just come with their just extra averageness. I can't. The best example I have is the Ukrainians, bro. It's just like they'll be like looking like pale ass ghosts, like walking around here like, we are so pretty. It's like, bitch, to who? To who? Like, don't get me wrong. If I saw like a Paris Hilton looking one, I'd be like, all right, yep, she's extra bad. But that's not what we're getting. We're getting like Rakoslavia from fucking Eastern Ukraine. Like, bitch, give me a break. I can't. I will no longer be silenced. I've hit the limit. I'm sorry. I'm pulling the basic bitch card. Pulling it right off the shelf. Okay? So, that's what it is. And everybody else can feel their feelings about it. They can all have their, you know, say what you will. Have your, feel your feelings. I'm gonna feel, everybody can feel their feelings. We shall all be out here feeling feelings all year long. Just coming with opinions and critiques. I'll be here. You'll be here. We'll all be here. I'm just tired because the thing that really kills me is the like, at least the Frexican with the chalupa was confident enough to say the shit to my face. You know, like, she like literally said it and then I responded. We were able to have like some communication about it. It can't be any communication if the Frexican goes back to her other group of similar looking Frexicans and then nobody else ever comes in to correct them. This is why it's important to have a diverse group of friends. Like, if in her friend group she had like 1 black girl, 1 white girl, 1 Asian girl, and then her, they could all collectively come together to be like, oh yes, no, kind of, this is how I know, like, this is how I'm able to like go into Asian communities and be like, oh wait, okay, no, that's actually like an ugly dark-skinned Asian girl, this is actually a pretty like Chinese girl. If you have friends from other groups, they will literally like tell you, and then you'll see enough of them to be able to compare and contrast. The problem is, like, I'm telling you, I can't describe it. Like, I'm not trying to be like anti-Latino, but maybe it's just something in my genetics or something. I don't know. Or maybe it's because they keep coming for me, which is why it's a problem. Like, if you were just to be like cordial in society, in the community, I would feel no need to rip you to shreds. I would be like, oh, I don't care. Just go be ugly over there. I wouldn't say no shit. I'd just be like, whatever. That's not the case. The one bitch was stalking me around the lake fucking yesterday. The other one literally, it's just a lot. Like, when you go out of your way to bother me, well, now it's a fucking problem, right? It's a fucking problem. The point is, like, if you're gonna like walk around being like, I'm the shit, okay, like, the global stage is open. The global stage is open. Like, I feel like some of y'all were extra confident when Sabrina Claudio was making those like anti-black statements, because like nobody like directly, well, people on Twitter definitely did directly address her, but there were other people who felt like, oh, I don't have to respond because I'm so much better than, like, oh, me not responding therefore makes whatever this bitch said true. That's not true. No. Like, it's just y'all are gathered in these little communities of like, what do you call it, like echo chambers, where everybody is saying the exact same shit. There's nobody who can correct you and give you a, like, what do you call it, a reality check, right? Reality check. This is why I would really encourage people to watch In the Comments section with Brett Cooper. It's the only show that I found that's like real to life. It's not, she doesn't only talk about like Karen issues or like Kanye West issues. It's like it's a broad range. The problem is the Karens sit over there in a corner only talking about basic Becky shit that none of us give a shit about. And I'm telling you, they're all Addison Rae ugly. And it's like, it's not happening. Like, you could put on a dress all day, you'll never be high fashion, ever, ever, ever. It's never gonna happen. It's just not in the cards for you. And I think the problem is, like, people like Addison Rae have a whole bunch of like dusty ass brads who are like gassing her up. So they're like, no, you're great. Okay, you're great to this dusty nigga over here. Like, he does think you're great. He thinks you're everything. Like, you are so wonderful to him. Nobody's taking it away from him. The problem is the globe, right? Like, the hierarchy of beauty standards in the world. I'm not saying Addison Rae is like Rosalia with Down syndrome. I'm not saying that. But she's also not Giselle, all right? Like, it's like there's a hierarchy here. So I'm just saying, especially to the people who are on the team, make hate videos about people, distribute the hate equally. Especially like the dusty niggers and like ugly white dudes out here, like, distribute your hate equally. If you're gonna make it so that everybody has to be on supermodel status, okay, that's fine. That is totally fair. I am the first bitch who is signing up for the like facial analysis classes where we can come for bitches with the like Japanese, with the Jap nose. Like, I don't like the Jewish nose either. If we want to talk about it, let's talk about it. Let's go there. Let's have the conversation, but don't half-ass have the conversation. We're like, oh, I'm only gonna start being critical if it's somebody who's like a dark-skinned Desi girl. I'm only gonna be critical of them. Everybody else gets a pass. Oh, I'm only gonna hate the fat Mexicans. Everybody else gets a pass. Oh, I'm only gonna hate the short black girls. Like, no, don't do that. If you're gonna be critical of everybody. Everybody who's average gets the average treatment. But everybody who's below average also gets it too. And you'll be like skipping steps. The problem is when you skip the steps, Stefan made a really good point about this. Bullying is necessary. And I feel like, especially in communities of men, y'all just don't understand the hierarchy among women. So you're just confused about like how ugly girls get treated in girl groups. Like, it's like a thing. It's a thing. You only know if you're a girl. Guys don't know because they don't have vaginas. So when a guy is like, oh, I love her, and all the girls are like, I hate this bitch, she has no style and she's poor, the guy can love her all day long. The girls get to also have their opinion about, like, that's an awful choice, that bitch is awful. Like, everybody gets to feel their feelings collectively. And you can't actually have that honest conversation about, because, like, we are now, like, women in society, men in society. Interracial dating is a real thing. So you might have somebody who's like really attractive from one racial group and somebody who's really unattractive from another racial group. It's hard to kind of understand if all you've seen all your life is like, I don't know, if all you've seen are like Chinese girls and you're like, oh my God, like Chinese girls are my type or whatever. They're the prettiest. Like I've heard so many guys say, this is like the UC Berkeley thing. They're like, we love Chinese girls. Chinese girls are great. Okay, well, China has like billions of people, right? So not all of them are attractive. Not even most of them. It's like a very small percentage, like everywhere else, right? They have literally done things like breaking toes, making skin more pale, all type of like eye surgery things where like their beauty standards are different. They're different. If you are not familiar with the community though, you wouldn't know this. The same applies for like black girls or like, oh, we probably do need to make space for whatever like Afro Latino is, but like, I mean, I'm not making that space, but like somebody should probably do that to have a whole other conversation about like Latin American attractive. I've started with Rosalia, but I'm not continuing that conversation because I don't want to be the person who's out here being a hater all day. Like, I do have other shit to write about. Like, for instance, Chloe's comeback today was incredible. So she basically made a song. She wrote a song that was a comeback to like DSN or whoever, the new nigga that she's dating. She's basically like, she wrote a song that's like, don't cheat on me. I would like to spend some hours unpacking this, and what I like to be critical of Chloe in ways that directly explain how she can improve. From what I've seen, she is on the path of improvement. Like, I'm not that critic who's here to like nitpick and tear down. That's what the white gays do, which is why I'm sorry. When I saw Jeffree Star in Marsai Martin's comments, I'm scared for her life. When you have a Jeffree Star gay in your comments, there's nothing but hate coming your way. Oh, I'm sorry, but white faggots are the worst. Like, they will rip you to shreds in ways that you won't return from. Like, you can't, it's hard to come back from like white gay critique. None of it is like, we hope for you to get better, here are ways you can improve. It's like, die, bitch, I hope you drown in a river. And it's just like, god damn, bro, like, we can't tolerate that in the black community, especially the black female community. Like, we're just getting to a point where we can start having conversations about fucking mental health and therapy. Like, we are just getting there in 2022. Even last year, y'all niggas was like, oh, don't talk about it. We're just fucking getting there. Also, if you did not see, I'm sorry, we have to have more conversations about like anti-Karen classes, okay? Like, that, it's just wild for me. Like, when I read the articles again last night about the active shooter at Berkeley High, that's some Karen's kid. Like, Brad and Karen are out here creating killers, and we need to have conversations about it because a lot of people would have died. This motherfucker had bombs, arsenals, all type of knives right there in his, it wasn't even in the garage, it was just in his room. Like, really, Karen? You didn't go in and just look? Like, I'm sorry, that shit is not happening in a black mother's house. Like, oh yeah, I can sneak 7 bombs in the house. Like, where? I'm sorry, how? When? Like, when? Have you ever heard of this ever in life? No, he literally had it, and it took them 6 days to go fucking get it. The only reason anybody knew about it is because one of the kids had enough confidence to literally share the text messages that he put in the Snapchat group chat to like 100 people, inviting them to help him bomb the school. I'm sorry, I live way too close to the school for that shit to happen. Like, my apartment probably would have blown up too. Like, he had quite a lot of explosives. I mean, it would have been kind of incredible if that actually happened. Like, other buildings have blown up at Berkeley High, but this would have been like, damn, I would have been able to write about this for probably the next 4 years. But I'm just saying, like, that's incredible. Like, I mean, he was about to do that shit. That was gonna happen for real. And all he got was like 3 felony counts and a juvenile detention center. They would have given like a black kid the death sentence. I'm sorry, get the fuck up out of here. Like, he's sitting in juvenile hall like, yeah, I plotted to blow up the city. I tried to aggregate 100 other students to join me. Like, I am convicted of this with all the evidence pointing to me successfully completing it. It's like on the way. It's incredible. It's just, all of it is just, I think we're all just watching different news. And what I try to do, I try to stick my nose in all of the communities a little bit, just so I can be like informed globally a little bit. And it's just very strange. Like, why can we not have more conversations about, like, more serious conversations about rape? Because all of the murders that I've seen in the Latino community, the reason behind the shooting was rape, every single time. The dude from last night, he shot his mother and the stepdad because the stepdad raped his sister, and his sister finally told him. He was so mad, he just ran in and shot him right in the face. That was in San Francisco last night. He literally just walked in and shot him right in the face. And nobody was confused because he had already told the other family members. He was like, you guys need to be accountable for this. And everybody was like, no, don't go to the police, don't go to the police. And even the sister who gets on camera, she was like, I feel anger about this. I feel anger about this. I want justice. Like, justice for who, bitch? You knew. She knew that this happened and still didn't report anybody. He was the only person who took action. This is an 18-year-old kid. He should not have to be responsible for a whole fucking family of Latinors who refused to live by the law. Build a wall. I'm gonna start making shirts and going to Trump rallies at this point because it's like too much. Like, y'all don't get it. Like, they're never gonna change. It's like every day a new fucking story comes out. And it's not just like, because the rapes are happening. Okay, so I saw the video by Joe, what's his face? That was like 6 years ago, where he was talking about how like the kids are going to school. Like so every night, it's not one night. It's like every night they're going home and being raped by someone in their family. Then they come to school, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. These are like small children who are in public schools right now. And it's not that like the mothers don't know, the uncles don't, everybody knows. Everybody in those households where it's happening, they know. They just refuse to say anything because of the patriarchy or something. They're like, oh, but that's my father, that's my dad, that's my uncle. If your uncle is raping you, he's not your fucking uncle, he's just a rapist. Like, who's gonna have the conversation? It's not even funny because like those kids are gonna grow up and jump off of a bridge. Like, you don't just like grow up and be like, oh, I'm totally fine now, everything's okay, I was getting raped every day from kindergarten to 12th grade, but now I'm gonna go off and be an orthopedic surgeon. Like, no, bitch, that's not how it works. You're gonna have to be in trauma therapy like every single day for like 20 years or something. And like most of the people who are struggling from mental health, the people who have like been able to get help for it and who have been diagnosed are too paralyzed to do anything. That's why y'all never hear the stories. They are the people who are literally sitting in their apartments and don't go outside anymore. They sit under the cover and have like paranoia and shit. They like look at certain colors, they can't wear certain colors or have too much light. They can't drink coffee or like go out to restaurants. Like, that's what it actually looks like. People are trying to make you feel like mental health is the people who are out here shooting up schools. No, like the kid who shot up the school, he didn't have any mental health issues. He had white supremacist issues, okay? He read that fucking manifesto by the other bro in New York and he was like, I'm about to do that. That's what, he's not mentally unhealthy, he's actually very healthy. He was raised by perfectly healthy Karens and perfectly healthy Kens, and this is what they turn out to be. We can choose to not acknowledge it and then have this happen more, like just more and more and more every day. This is what I'm saying. I can't feel for you if you're like the Matthew McConaughey nigga with the sneaker story. Shut up. Like, it sounds retarded. Like, no one is out here being like, oh yeah, it's not a good, it's a great thing that this happened. Nobody feels that way. Like, no one at all feels that way. We all know it's bad. But like, we are also, I feel like everyone in the Black community kind of knows how long we've been at the stage of like, something's gotta change. We cannot take this amount of hatred because it is threatening our existence. I saw like 2 days ago, so the people from that Asian community, they are now like, we need to have community meetings to demonstrate protest for civil rights for Asian people or something, because too much Asian hate is happening. And I'm just so confused. It's like, first they laugh at affirmative action and Martin Luther King, and then they're like, let's go have a rally and do what they did. What? Like, I thought you were just on the we hate those niggers train like yesterday. What changed? Like, I don't understand. Like, when it was like yesterday though, like, no, it wasn't even like long enough ago for you to be like, oh, I've had a change of heart. Now I've seen, like, no, bitch. Like, the only thing that happened is now more people feel confident enough to shoot your group. Everybody said, how long have people been saying it? First they come for me, then they come for you. They can't only come for Black people. Like, of course, like all the marginalized groups collectively are on the list. Maybe like Black people are first, but now I keep saying the same thing. The population of Black people in America is getting smaller and smaller and smaller every year. The population of Latino people in the country is getting larger and larger and larger every year. So they're at about like 30% now. Black people are at like 13%. That's kind of a large ass difference, okay? And then there's like the Eastern European group, which is now its own like little subgroup. They're slowly marching at like 5%, maybe 6%. You got Asian groups at like 9%. The black group is just not large enough to be the target of hate any longer. And the weird part about it is, as much as people wonder like what I am or who I am or who I stand for, I'm not a person of color. No, I'm black. Black, African to be specific. So either way, none of it applies to me. And so it's weird to have people be like, no, people who look just like me talking about Afro Latino this, Afro Latino that. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. Those are the same motherfuckers who were racist like 2 weeks ago. Those are the same motherfuckers who were like retweeting Sabrina Claudio like 2 weeks ago. Now all of a sudden when you realize like you're not white, now you're like, oh, let me join the community of color. Like, no, the door is closed. You are not invited to the barbecue. No. Be anti-Solange and like stop letting people have a seat at the fucking table. Cause it's not helping. Everyone, like, I think Ann Coulter was right. People of color here need to go fight for their own fucking rights so that they can, when they get them, they can understand what it means to work for them. Too many people here are coming here being entitled. Like, they didn't work for shit and they don't understand why people are still today marching in the streets for shit. And they're criticizing and demeaning the people who are marching in the streets for shit because they're saying that doesn't matter. Well, then what does matter? Because if my rights don't matter, then you already know I don't give a shit about your rights. What? Like, why would I care more about, like, your rights than my own? That doesn't even make sense. Like, I want to be alive. Let's put it this way. I am alive, and so I'm going to live. But who doesn't feel like that? Like, every person feels like that. As in, like, I'm alive, and I want to have pride in the fact that, like, I'm alive. I don't understand how it's not like super clear to certain shit that is happening in society that people don't understand, like this is a problem. Why y'all gotta make a black princess kissing a motherfucking frog? Like, get the fuck up out of here. That's disrespectful. I'm sorry. Fuck Tiana. That's not the movement. That is not the tea. That's not the nothing. Like, that's bullshit.